Welcome to Actoroke in the world of Chaldea. And we are on Gen Con TV. I'm Peter Atkinson. I am the director and executive producer for the Actoroke series. And tonight is movie night. This is what we all wait for. Is when we actually get to play the movie. This is the movie night for episode 1 of Graver's Dig. This is a new story set in Actoroke style, set in the world of Chaldea. 2 weeks ago, our Dungeon Master for Series 3, Mike Boozer, yes, that Mike Boozer of Gen Con fame, ran a Dungeons & Dragons game for Megan Karimi Nasser, Lexi the First, Rennie Aracto, Bryce Bebop, and our lead writer, Steve Connard, for the last, took the next week and wrote a screenplay adaptation of the story created in the RPG. So last week, I directed 9 actors in performances over a period, over 3 different recording sessions in 1 week. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. That was Andy Dobriowski and Carlton, Leah Woodley, and Dylan Smith. And with special guests, Jesse Keeter, Susanna Burney, Marcus Mays, Isabella Alvarez, and Benji McAteer. So in the past few days, I have been editing the footage that we caught from this and stitching it all together with sound effects and graphics, cinematics from Steve Connard, illustrations from Tanel Levitt. And now here we are, as I finished it about 3 hours ago. So yeah, plenty of time. So this episode recorded in Chaldea Studios with our technical crew from Zombie Orpheus Entertainment. And tonight we are really happy to have back Jimmy Duffy from Creative Rejects as our technical director. And and after the movie tonight, stick around for Actorspokee. Actorspokee is our sit around and talk about the movie segment, and we will have guests, all the Dungeon Masters in the history, the 1 year history, I guess, of Actoroke. Sarah Moore, who was our Dungeon Master in Series 2, Mike Boozer, our current Dungeon Master in Series 3, and myself, who was the Dungeon Master in Series 1. And so join us, stick around after the movie and hear us all jabber with Steve Connard, who was the screenwriter for all of those all that craziness. Talk about how it went. So, all right. Remember that all of our Twitch streams are uploaded the next day or two to YouTube at the Gen Con video channel or the World of Chaldea channel. And please remember, follow us on all the social medias. We found as at World of Chaldea. So, spread the word. Help us help more people enjoy the amazing magic of Actoroke. All right, Jimmy, let's watch this thing. See how it turned out.
Yes.
Thousands of undead move like a swarm of bees through the centuries-old necropolis of Dua Wold. Summoned by their queen, Orthy Vob, a Celt Dunnion mooing witch.
Come, come, gather close, my friends.
A large owl floats unnaturally quiet overhead. It lands in the high branches of a Samarian acacia tree, watching 4 graver undeadites, a bard, a druid, a warlock, and a fighter. The ever-growing throng of dead shuffle close, eager to hear the witch's gospel reckoning. With a staff in one hand and a skeletal leg in the other, she beckons the troops closer.
Finally, the game is afoot.
The compiled remains of the once living shamble closer. A family of undead, uncle zombies, aunt skeletons, and long-lost ghoul cousins and collateral relatives of whites and shades. They've all grown up for the family reunion.
Dearly, nearly departed, I've summoned you to search for the skull of my son, Bran, lost here in Duowold. Yes, I love you too. Now, control your enthusiasm as I explain your task. Together, we will unite his body and soul and change the world. Go now in this righteous endeavor and bring to me my son's wondrous head.
The assembled host turn as one, driven by the witch's enchanted command, except for the 4 gravers, who seem a bit more alert than the others. They peer uneasy at each other, scratching, confused, working jaws, picking noses, all generally unmotivated.
You 4, what are you waiting for? Gotta move on.
The fighter moves closer to Orthy Vob. Saoirse, as the Celt woman was called in life, wears light armor. She carries a halberd and a crossbow slung over her back.
Yes, dearie. What is it?
Pardon me. Oh, but how are we going to identify this skull?
The druid, Bahati, a powerfully built Targonian woman in leather armor, carries a staff and a short bow and flanks the fighter.
I mean, there are a lot of skulls.
Why do you think I assembled your siblings if not for this divine purpose? There are a millennia of graves to be searched. Branch out. Use your savvy, cunning. Bring him to me.
Is it labeled?
Maybe a tattoo.
How is it that you speak?
Because I have a mouth.
200 years I've searched this pile. I know the name of every soul on these grounds. Plow new horizons.
The warlock, Archibald Ashtooth, a pert mountain of a man in long, flowing spellcaster's robes, joins the fun.
This Bran, he be your son?
Giant Brennenhole Bran, blessed raven, the crowned high king of Magmel, and yes, my son.
The bard, Cass, a Rushan man in bright, colorful garb, slaps Archibald on the shoulder.
Great, a king. Suppose he has a crown on that bony brow?
That would make the rascal easy to identify, eh?
No crown, no labels, no tattoos. There's no shortcut to success, only hard work.
Except summoning the dead to do it for you.
Perhaps you could be a bit more specific with details. Size and shape, perhaps. Unusual characteristics. Birthmarks. Malformities.
You got a sketch?
Petty-fogging hucksters, search!
Is there a bounty on his head? Perhaps a prize at the end?
A prize? Yes, of course. A secret prize. Now go find his skull. Now!
Group meeting?
Yes.
What do you think?
Something doesn't smell right.
No shit, we're in a cemetery surrounded by brain-eating zombies.
Not to mention we're dead.
Oh my gods, so much better.
I feel like we need more information. Do you agree?
Should we inquire from you-know-who?
When a zombie horde gets sight of blood, they all go clawing at it till they rip the body to shreds, meat, bones, and brains.
Only if you want crazy in return.
Wolves get caught and spotted in the fracas, and then it starts all over
I
again.
question the wisdom in talking to that crazy old hag.
Dashes and blood.
All of this is giving me a splitting headache.
Imagine it's that arrow of splitting your noggin instead.
Ow!
I've seen it. A mighty awesome
Anyone remember
sight.
how we got here?
The only way to prevent it with zombies
I think
is to rip off
we
their
died.
Oh, nothing is sad and pathetic as an armless zombie.
The last thing I remember were horns.
I think I remember drums?
You guys hear that?
Or your son, did he happen to play the drums?
When they look back, there is no sign of the witch. Nothing to be done. They turn their attention to the distant rhythmic beat.
Bard magic says we go that way.
They head that-a-way, and that-a-way leads to Caracalla Memorial Amphitheater. The tiny amphitheater boasts Latium architecture, a private, intimate, family-sized bowl with seating for 50. Squat, ornate marble pillars with horror-stricken statuary ring the perimeter. The tiny stage is built on a foundation of stone-carved bones. Our heroes enter. Slowly, they proceed down weather and time-worn stone steps, taking in the theatrical production. On stage, a diminutive goblin drummer, a woman in simple robe, stands, her hands a blur as she hammers a rhythmic beat on a set of bongo drums. Behind the goblin is a human boy playing blissfully. Armed with an orange flag and a slingshot, the boy plays a pretend game of goblins and gravers.
Die, graver scum!
The child releases a stone from his slingshot, striking a pock-marked broken statue.
Hey there, laddie! What's with the flag?
Who's there? Oh, finally an audience.
Playing those drums is gonna catch the wrong attention.
What I don't see can't see me.
They damn sure gonna hear you.
What's with the obnoxious flag?
We're hunters. If it flies, it dies. If it hops, it drops. If it hooks, it cooks.
What if it's already dead?
4 hissing, angry goblins with vicious, steely knives and short bows charge out of the wings.
Guess what day it is?
A goblin looses an arrow that whizzes past the warlock.
Oh, you ought not have done that, you naughty, naughty little rascal.
Hey guys, this is rude behavior even for goblins. When you're dead, we gonna have a talk.
Billy Beer is down!
A goblin opens up a black, bloodless gash on the hottie's arm.
Is it possible to be more dead? Is that a thing?
A goblin arrow strikes Archibald in the chest.
Stay away from me. You're an arrow magnet. Revenge is a dish best served cold, my friend. It gives me such a headache trying to think down to your level.
2 Willy Billy is down!
Leave one for me, will ya?
You got this.
I feel really, really good. Things are looking up. We're gonna kill some goblins, we're gonna find that skull, and we're gonna receive a prize.
Hell yeah.
Saoirse strikes out with her halberd at the nearest goblin and whiffs badly. Rather than being upset, she erupts into giggles.
Looks like I had a bit of muscle atrophy during that dirt nap. I still feel really good though.
I scoff at your puny arrows, goblin kin! Ha!
Bronco Billy is down.
Really, man? We could have been so much more. Hillbilly down.
Hey, that's my job. I'm the MC.
Your skills are improved. Transformation complete.
What are you insinuating?
And who, sir, are you?
I mean you no harm. Lower your weapons. I am Wilhelm, Cimmerian Hunt referee.
You look familiar.
Yes, I remember now. We had one of them orange flags.
Yes, we did. And a guide, too.
You're Cass. And you're Archibald.
Ashtooth.
Yes. Oh, and you're my sweet lassie, Bahati. And I'm Saoirse.
In your former lives, it would appear that you participated in a Cimmerian hunt. I don't recall your party specifically. Then again, there are so many hunts these days.
We need our flag back so other hunting parties will stop attacking us.
I think we need to focus less on flags and more on finding Bran.
Sir Wilhelm, we're on a quest to find the skull of Bran. Might you have some information in this regard?
Who is Bran?
Well, we don't know. Some batty witch woke us up and told us to go find it.
You are not ordinary undead. Sorry. Your quest lies beyond my purview.
What is your purview?
As I said, I am a hunt referee assigned to observe.
Did you happen to observe those two killing us?
I am not at liberty to divulge private information. I can say hunting parties often come to Duawold to hunt the undead. Killing powerful netherworldly patrons can be quite profitable.
Does that mean they're going to try to kill us again?
No, we did not kill you before or intend to now.
Who did then?
What makes you think I know?
You are being deliberately annoying.
The multiverse is not obliged to make sense to you.
See? We need a flag for protection. I'm taking the flag.
I cannot permit that, unless you're willing to duel me for it. Is that your desire?
And how many points would you be worth? Go ahead, Archibald. Take him out.
What? No. My inner wisdom says that would be incredibly stupid.
Never duel someone with silver trim. I remember reading that somewhere. Latrine wall or something.
My performance is over. Now we depart. Billy, my drums.
Give it up for Billy Bongo!
I like their older stuff better.
Best avoid the living.
I think that bird is following us.
What the F do you want?
Let me. I can speak with animals. Hey, Blinky, you following us?
Who?
You dumbass bird!
Who you calling a dumbass? Little hunk.
Oh, you can speak.
I speak fluent druid and warlock. And while it gives me a headache, I can speak down to a bard.
You lost?
Oh, no. I was just passing by and witnessed your confrontation with the Billy Club. The Billy Club? Bongo Billy's Goblin Thieves Guild.
The owl hacks up a furry owl pelt.
Damn doobies bunch of ne'er-do-wells.
You know him?
Course I know him. I used to be a paying member of their club.
You did? Are you some kind of familiar?
Oh, criminy! Am I still an owl?
That vole vomit not clue you in?
Normally I just shift right away. But it was so fun conversing to the whole owl bit, you know?
So you're a druid?
No, I'm a servant. Yeah. To a powerful archmage. Ooh, grand powerful.
And your name? I mean, I don't wish to pry.
Oh! I'm Salome! Whew. Friends and enemies call me Sally. You sure you're not with that bongo babe? Oh, no, she ain't my kind of goblin.
What other kind is there?
Hey, man, the world is blessed with a diversity of rich goblin heritage, and I'm the best kind.
We'll take your word for it.
With introductions out of the way, let's get down to business. I was sent to fetch you.
By your mage patron?
Of course, obviously. I mean, duh. I am a familiar. I'm in control of everything. But don't tell them. Who are you talking about? Does this guy got a name? Sagay. Funny girl. You tried to trick me into saying his name. No.
We'd feel a little more comfortable knowing with whom you're dealing.
All in good time. Come on, let's go. Why aren't you coming?
You seem to be in a hurry. What's your rush?
You stink. Kafka-esque odor. Not judging. Just saying. Where are we going? We're going to fly right out of this necropolis. Sally-ho!
It's important to understand that undead lose track of time. They kind of just exist in the moment. At the necropolis wall, some random amount of time later, the owl, Sally, escorts the four nearly departed gravers to the edge of Dua Wold, where, upon, they approach the towering stone walls that were erected to keep their kind inside.
Here we are!
Archibald, do you know what kind of magic brought us back and if it's limited to the necropolis? It would suck to go through these walls and then fall over again, dead.
Please! That's not gonna happen.
Says the hobgoblin.
Excuse me, right now it's an owl goblin, and if I wanted, I could have already disposed of your rotten corpse in an unmarked grave and bit home for tea.
Nearby, a diminutive goblin skeleton is stuck on a spear, impaled in its back. Saoirse picks up the spear, and Frog marches the poor bugger to a huge crack in the wall, open to the outside world.
No brains, no fear.
She slowly walks behind him through the crack, paying close attention to its anti-life movements and hers. The others follow, eventually emerging safely and quite alive on the other side.
I still feel dead. You?
I don't feel anything, actually. I suppose that's a good sign.
See? Told ya!
The Fae cemetery is overgrown by the grassy savanna. Saoirse yanks the spear free, releasing the poor skeleton, and sends him on his way.
He's so cute. I wish I could keep him. All right, you little booger.
Now what?
Well, wait, of course. A wizard always arrives precisely when they mean to.
I thought you said he was a mage.
Wizard, mage, warlock, all arrogance looks the same to me. Jackass.
A sorcerous being, a human-looking man wearing long robes, strides in upon the scene like a sheriff in an old western.
Sagacious, I think I found them this time.
It's tenacious, remember?
Oh yeah. Tenacious. Tenacious. Okay, smart undead. That's what you wanted, huh?
Yeah, but you keep bringing me the dumb ones, though.
No, not this time. They were talking to Bongo Billy, and she was talking back.
You don't say. We'll see.
Oh, the volley!
Spirited, not too ripe. Promising.
Did I do good?
We'll see. Can you understand me?
We're not imbeciles.
I'll be the judge of that. So what are you about then?
We're looking for a human skull.
Well, that's an odd pastime.
Not our choice. We were forced.
A witch put a hex on us to find the skull of one Brennan Hall Brand.
Well, now I am intrigued.
Bongo Billy delivered the goods, huh? Sorry, master.
Turns out I'm looking for the very same skull.
You want the prize.
No. You want the prize.
What is this prize? We were never apprised.
I'm aware Orthy Vob is looking for her son's skull. I'd like to beat her to the punch.
Oh, so you're not working with her.
Oh no, I'm working against her.
And you aren't planning to kill us.
Hardly. You're uniquely suited for the task of finding the skull. I'd just like to seek your aid. Yes?
How so?
Oh, you're dead, see, while I'm alive. You can mingle amongst the undead unnoticed.
She's gonna give us a prize.
Right. Her prize is an early grave. I, however, have a much better reward. I can return you to life.
Sold.
That is objectively better.
We're working on nothing here. Can you give us any information?
Almost anything would be an improvement.
You see, you're just another cog in her undead wheel. For me, you are the wheel.
What's the game plan, boss?
First things first, I'll need you to infiltrate Orthy Vob's lair. Ascertain how much of Bran's body she's already found. How many body parts are still missing.
Who is this Bran anyway? And why are we trying to stop her?
Bran is an evil Celtic god. He will raise an undead army and make war on the living.
Might there be a dowsing rod or some kind of spell equivalent that might help us find the skull?
Indeed. After you infiltrate Orthy Vob's lair, I will provide instructions for such a device, but not now. I will tell you more later when you return with information about the body. Fair?
I do like the thought of being alive again.
And a bath.
Can you provide us with any help at all? A magical weapon? A spell assist? Goblin familiar? Must I maintain civility?
I will protect you with illusionary armor. Those who look upon you will see you as they expect to. The living will see you as you once were, alive. The dead, more importantly Orthy Vob, will see you as dead.
Will they still stink?
Like hell, to high heaven. It is medieval times. You, Mr. Magic Null Point, I'm gonna need you to really, really, really want this illusion to work. Because if you don't really, really, really want it to work, it won't. You dig?
Sorry, I'm magic intolerant.
It's a fine trick. Another time I might even want to dissect you. Never mind. Forget I even said that.
It occurs to me we're putting a lot of faith in you. What's to prevent you, when we're done, from casting our ruin upon the bone pile?
You hurt me, sir. My word is bond. I'm all about life, and I will return you to life.
He brought me back to life, and I'm just fine.
Shake on it.
Jolly good.
Nice ring.
You like that? It's my ring of maligned shilling.
Did you say mind shielding?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Ah, a parlor trick. I love a good parlor trick. Unfortunately, the hour grows late. Fate, destiny, they wait for no one.
Peter, hello. I think we might have lost Peter. What'd you think? Our first episode of the season.
Yeah, it's good. What do you think, Mike? How did it transition in your head?
It transitioned very well. I thought it was really interesting how how we create something in a role-playing session, and then how it goes through the different changes to come out with the script and everything. So I was very excited about it. I really liked the characters, the actors playing those role-playing playing those different characters are really good. So it was very really nice to see them bring that to life.
Cool. Were there any spots in the session that you did that you were surprised at how they turned out in the film version?
Yeah, I mean, when I created the characters for Bongo Billy and Billy the Kid, I had created that kind of by myself, and was just kind of wondering how that would turn out with kids and actors and everything. But I thought it turned out really well. I mean, they pretty much kind of brought that to life the way I was thinking that they would. It was very was very cool the way that all happened. I think that part was really interesting to me. That was the part I was kind of wanting to see most of all, about how's that going to work out, how's it going to happen, and all of that. But yeah, everything was really, really good. I mean, as far as my from beginning to end, as far as what we created and what was ultimately shot. I like a lot of the different changes they did in the script, to make into the script, to do some of those pretty cool gags and things are really interesting.
Cool.
Well, you do have to distill it down. It's a RPG, and there's a lot of hubbub and people, tossing jokes back and forth, and you always have to just get it right down to the story. And yeah, it was fun seeing the different goblins. You think of goblins, and you're always thinking, well, they're exactly the same, right? But obviously, there's a huge contrast between Bongo Billy and Sally.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's the fun thing about. I think the thing about the goblin thing, the whole goblin thing, is kind of interesting. How they are completely different. You've got Bongo Billy, who's completely different than Sally, and then these little goblins who are attacking, who are what you think of as a goblin, just random goblin encounters kind of thing. That was interesting. Yeah, lots of fun.
Well, I know that Peter usually likes to do people's favorite moments in the episode. Do we have a favorite moment from each of us?
I mean, I think my favorite moment is the interaction between Tenacious and the group, where they're trying to figure out what's going on, and he's trying to just tell them, this is how it's going to go, and this is what we're gonna do, and the line where he says, I'm going to bring you back to life, and where she goes, and where Bahati says, well, that's demonstratively better, or whatever.
Yeah,
objectively better.
Objectively better, yeah.
Right. So I thought that was fun. And I love the brandishing of the ladle. Kind of, I don't know. There's something about that just is funny.
And that tiny ukulele. Silliness.
Yeah. How about you guys?
Sarah?
I think I actually think that it was the bits with the owl, which I know we're giving you a bunch of trouble this week, Steve. But I loved that we were able to incorporate something new into this episode that we hadn't ever done before. And so to be able to have this transition between the owl into the goblin, I thought was pretty cool. We keep stepping forward with tech and production value and all that stuff. And so I thought that was kind of a really great way of demonstrating that, right? Is to doing something extra big that we weren't expecting to do. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, I mean, in the script, I mean, that's the thing, is only person to blame would be me, because I wrote it, but I can blame Mike. He actually DM'd it. Shape changing. I'm like, okay, so how do we manage shape changing, in Actoroke?
Yeah.
It's can you do a transition there? I go, well,
Go ahead.
Yes.
Well, I was thinking of you when I was going, this is going to give Steve fits. I was thinking of it because I know you so well. I was thinking, this is going to give Steve fits. This owl's going to transform into Sally, and I was wondering what you're going to do there. And that was great. I mean, that was really good. And Anne's so good. I mean, she's so good. That character is such a great character. I mean, I think it really makes it interesting. I like how she kind of flaps her arms when
she's coming out of it.
So you get this feeling like, oh yeah, she's transforming. I mean, that was great. And the talking owl part is so cool. I mean, Steve knows I've got a talking owl on my other campaign, but it's so
So
cool.
this is a theme for you. I see.
Yeah, it is.
That wasn't lost on me at all.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Mr. Owl. So anyway,
Mr. Owl.
yeah. So I'm partial to owls anyway. It's just so it's really kind of a cool thing. That whole interaction. And the characters kind of trying to feel around being undead and not undead and all that kind of that whole piece is very interesting, I think. I think from beginning to end it's all very much what we did. It's just some of the lines are changed and some of the things are done differently, which makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there that you have to distill down to a script. So it makes it so that just get the best pieces out of it and just try to make sure you get the through line for the story. And
arguably one of the funniest lines, at least for me, was one that you didn't role play and I didn't write. It was Anne, of course. She's like, the line where he's like, oh, I'm going to bring you back to life. And then she's like, I got to put this line in here because she goes, you brought me back to life. This was series 1. And I'm fine, which I thought was super funny because she's clearly not fine. But it's
clearly not fine.
I loved all the reaction of the four heroes looking at each other going, I think I'd rather be dead than be like her. But I thought that was super funny, and it was a great ad lib that she wanted to put in there.
I think it's great when those actors know the character and what's gone on before, so that those things can come out. I mean, that is a great line. And that was, it's super funny. It's like, I'm just fine. Yeah, I'm just fine.
Are you though?
Are you though?
And all the zombie makeup by Bandersnatch looked great.
Yeah, those guys looked awesome. I mean, I thought really that they looked, ripe, very ripe.
Yeah, they looked gross.
Yeah, they did. They were disgusting.
Yeah, in a good way.
Right.
Steve, we didn't get your favorite moment. I mean, you had a good line that you liked, but did you have other?
Well, I'll have to tell you, I really like. I'm partial to sort of undead horror stuff, so I kind of like the theme of the whole thing. I think a production level thing. I didn't think it was going to be okay. One of the things I actually struggle with in Actoroke is how we going to handle combat, because we can't do huge combat.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's always like, well, how are we going to handle combat? And Peter called me over the weekend. It's like, oh, so we're playing D&D and we don't shy away from the fact we're playing D. Can you just put the stats on the screen? And I'm like, just put the stats on the screen. Like, sure.
Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting way to handle it, though.
So I animated the schools of magic and put those up there. I mean, that's all original stuff. I just sat there and animated over the weekend. And then I said, wouldn't it be really cool, the lower thirds, sort of news thing at the bottom? And it turned out really, really cool. I was like, okay, I think this is pretty nifty. And obviously we're breaking the fourth wall huge. Sure. But I think it's just interesting to see with the players. So you're taking your mind off of like, we're not showing somebody actually throw a spell.
Right.
But you see the stats there and you get a sense of what they're actually doing. I thought that I was actually pretty happy how that turned out.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. When I saw it, I was like, wow, you got the spell up there and everything. That's impressive. And even though you're breaking the fourth wall, I think the fun part about that is that brings you back around to the role playing in the game and the spells that are being cast. And you're like, oh yeah, that's that spell. That's the spell they're casting. So that's cool. And it's the spell that they have. And
that was actually the spells they threw in the game, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, spell per spell, it's what they use. So I think that was a great ad, and I endorse it.
Well, and it's nice too, because then the narrator doesn't have to say, Bahati casts this spell. It just shows up, and then you can sort of use it that way instead. It's a nice visual reminder without taking us out of the narrative.
Right.
Yeah, should we be saying, Schools of Magic is copyright Wizards of the Coast. Thank you very much for allowing us to put your stats on the screen.
Thank you very much, Wizards of the Coast. I think that we are not hiding the fact that we are playing D&D 5th edition. So thank you so much for all of that good stuff.
The other thing I really liked was I always just really loved Tennille's art. Like, I think
it's great.
I mean,
And
her
there was a
undead
lot
stuff
of
is-
it this time.
Yeah, and she goes nuts, and you know, we're all working hard at our desk trying to get this thing done. And however many days do we have to do this? Just
Not
cranking.
enough.
Yeah, her art is always so it's such a pleasure. So I always love that email. Here it is. I think it's
Here's
something
all
like
the
that.
stuff.
She doesn't type much. It's always like, here it is, and then I get to go and explore it. So that's always fun.
Because her hands are dead. Because she's been going
Well,
nuts.
I mean, typically we have the film all done. Peter has all edited out everything. I've added in my little bits or whatever I'm doing, and then we're sitting there, and then the art comes in. It's the last thing we put in.
Yeah.
So we're always waiting, like, oh, it's gonna be exciting. So
yeah, it was. I mean, I thought it was a great way to do the battles, to show those 4 goblins. That art of hers was perfect. I mean, you can't get better than that. It was like, oh, here they are. That's exactly what they look like. 4 goblins.
Like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, all of our art for all of our series, for series 1, 2, and now into 3, we have it all on our website. So if you go to actoroke.com, you're happy to go out there and look at all the different art and see how it's evolved from series 1 to 2. I mean, everything we're doing is evolving. And Peter and I have this joke. It's the Actoroke way. We don't really care. Peter's like, I'm just going to have the owl fly across the screen. And if you hate it, guess what?
Yeah, then we'll take it out.
I go, well, it's the Actoroke way. It's going to be great. So then the owl goes right through the screen. I'm like,
we also have all of our characters from all of the series up on actoroke.com as well. And links to all the episodes, all the previous episodes, should you want to catch up on the lore of Actoroke.
Yes, and the other thing we finally got around to doing, because we're a small team, is we have for series 3, we have all the character D&D Beyond stats all on the website. So if somebody decides they're going to lose their stats this series,
well then
I wouldn't name a name, but they can just come to the website.
I wonder who you could be talking about.
Yeah, I remember. Just someone.
Just a person. Just as a hypothetical situation, were someone to lose it, it would be fine.
Somebody needs to throw a stone to flesh on Peter, because he's still not come back to life.
Yeah, I think that we need to get our clerics a working.
Well,
so it was interesting. A little technical. So Peter finished rendering our film tonight, and then the gremlins attacked his computer right after that. He got it out the door to us, and he's like, I'm having the worst time with my computer. I'm going, well, I'm glad you finished the film at least before your system decided to die. And so I was like, are you gonna be able to get in with us at Actorspokee tonight? And he's like, I hope so. And anyway, so he wishes he was here. He loves this part.
Listen, we will have him back at the next time, and he will have double episode worth of stuff to talk about, which will be great. His computer needs a rest. It was working overtime this past week. So
oh my goodness. Yes.
Well,
we were going to talk about having all three DMs from series, like the 3 series. So Peter started off, and then Sarah came along, and now Mike.
Yep.
So how do you guys see it evolving from series 1 to 2 to 3? I know, Mike, you're sort of new coming in, so I'm sure there's more. Sarah has more insight to this.
Well, I mean, Mike, what was your experience coming into an established, not that we're like super established, but as the 3rd series, like what was it like for you to come in and be like, here's all the lore, go?
It was very much a download by Steve on here's what you need to know, here's what's going on. I think the good thing for me is I'm familiar with Chaldea, having played with Peter in Chaldea. So
how many years?
When he says Sumerian, I'm going, yeah, I know what that is. When he says, this, we're on the hunt, and these guys are the guys who are the guides on the hunt, and I know exactly what that kind of guy is. I don't, if I can say that, because I don't know if we told anyone, but in any case, I know what that class is. That
demonologist.
Yeah, demonologist. So I know what that is, and
played by Marcus Mays, by the way.
excellently.
Yeah, excellently. And so when all that shows up and they said, then Steve and I are riffing on how to develop the campaign and ideas, and we did that early on, and then just kind of developing the campaign and everything. I've got a familiarity with Chaldea, so that makes it easier. And then I was watching other episodes to see how things are progressing, and I thought, and Peter said to me, just run I know how you run a campaign. Just run a campaign. Just do it. Get on, do the campaign, and we'll go with it. There are some instructions on not too many characters. You don't want to. You got to keep things so that they're able to take them and film them and make a script and everything. So you don't want to get too heavy on lots of different things.
I think Peter would tell us this was the most amount of characters we've ever had in an episode, right?
It absolutely was. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there I go. I'm famous for that. But I feel like it was. I just feel like I'm really comfortable just doing it. I feel like it's just a lot of fun. I'm having a great time. What I like is that when you get different DMs, you get different styles, and you get to see different styles of DMing, and that's, for me, is always nice. It's always cool to see how other people do things, how they do combat, how they do interactions between characters, NPCs, how they set up a scene. All that, I think all that stuff is always kind of fun, and I think the more DMs or more people you have doing it, and then you get to see different styles. I think that's kind of a very cool thing.
Yeah, for sure. Steve, I'm interested of your perspective is that now you have written scripts for 3 different DMs, and how is that different for you?
Well, so early on when we first started, by the way, little thing, we did a Actoroke playtest thing a long time ago to test this out, and we brought in Mike to be one of our test dummies, so he's known for a while that we've been working on this crazy idea called Actoroke, and actually he created an amazing character in that. I mean, arguably the funniest bits in the playtest was something Mike did as a player, not as the DM. Anyway, going in, it's sort of like we didn't know what we didn't know, and so it was like, oh, just go. And now after we're in the series 3, I hear when Sarah was DMing and she would say something, I'm like, every word that came, from God's lips to my ears, I'm thinking, oh, I had to write that. I gotta illustrate that. I gotta sound design that. I gotta. And so now when I hear people DM, I used to just be cool, balls out, let's just go epic. And now it's like, whoa, let's not go too epic, because I gotta figure out how
everybody relax a little bit.
In series 2, you're like, okay, so I have this plan. They're going to go and fight a Drazzledar. And I'm like, what? I don't know if people figured this out who followed series 1, 2, and 3. And Drazzledar are sort of like Superman in Chaldea. So it's sort of like if you're in the DC universe going, yeah, we're going to go fight Superman. I'm like, that doesn't seem wise. So when you said that, I'm going to go fight but the way you pulled it off was great at the very end, and they didn't actually have to fight it, which was good, because they just no way. Peter said I would have just stepped in and said, okay, they're all dead. Anyway,
everybody's dead now.
Suppose, Peter has and Mike said it right though. Everybody has a different DMing style, and I enjoy watching the RPG from that point of view. Like, I sit back and I honestly just sit back with popcorn and a Coke and just watch.
Nice.
I take a little bit of mental notes when I hear great lines, and the great lines just show straight up in the script.
Yeah.
It's like, I think, who was it? It was Bryce who just said, after, I'm going to raise you to life. And he just goes, sold. And then,
sold.
And it's like, that is objectively better. And both of those just went straight in, because that's what the response would be, right? I'm going to bring you back to life. Done.
Yeah.
Okay, boss. Like, what's the game plan? I mean, I put that in, but that's like the next thing. It's like, I'm on board, because come on, who wants to stay dead? Nobody. I mean, let's be honest, unless you're a necromancer or something. Anyway. So yeah. I think though, enjoying people the way they DM and the players play. Thursday morning, it's like, okay, we have a recap meeting, and okay, now we just got to write a script.
Mhm.
And so, regardless of how the RPG went, we kind of have a system. Peter's like, cannot go over 27 pages. I hit page 27. He's like, cut.
All done.
So,
All
yeah,
done.
we start cutting. And so that's why, you just, because you can't just do everything. Especially Peter, he films this whole thing in one night. You can realize speed. I said to somebody recently, Actoroke is speed, and capital speed.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
It's pretty wild.
So we have a system for the scripts. It's a known quantity now. I can crank. I usually do combat last just because I don't enjoy writing it. It's just hard. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Inevitably, I figure out a way to do it at the end. But
yeah.
anyway,
Well, that's
I enjoy the
definitely
dialogue.
hard to do without a super big budget. It's hard to do. And it would be harder also on Tanel if we were like, well, we'll just do art for all of it, because then you've got, you'd need so much art from
in my whole life. I've always been, it doesn't matter what I've done. It's like, we'll get Steve to do it.
Get Steve to do it.
Yeah, the person who's really busy, what you do is you give them more work so they don't have time to mess with it.
Yeah.
Peter says that sometimes with a little more colorful language, but yeah,
Yeah.
we're always like, we want to give Tanel more art, because obviously we just want to see more art, but we're like, at the end of the day, she has to sleep and have a life.
Something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Great.
So this is episode 1, and we have 6 episodes in the Graver's Dig.
Five more are coming.
Next week, Mike is back at the game table with dice.
Yeah.
So Mike, you got any spoilers, any sort of hints?
No, I don't want to give away too much, but they're gonna be searching. They need to search. They need to find Brand's skull, and they're gonna start in on that total immersion into looking for that. I think is where we're gonna go. It's fun playing with people that we just don't know. Well, almost everyone I play with, I don't know what they're gonna do next. So it's always fun to see and go off on a tangent and try to bring them back to some semblance of where you want them to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always have a good
wrangling
time.
Cat situation.
Yeah. It's like herding cats. And so it's always fun when they go like, oh, we're going to go do this. And sometimes that works out, which is really kind of fun. It's like they get an idea and then it's like we riff on it and it works out. It's like, oh, that's cool. I think being mindful of time is the biggest thing, you have to do when you're doing the RPG in this. Because in my world, we play for like 6 hours a night, and it's like sometimes nothing gets done.
Yeah.
There is so much discussion about the intricacies of what they're going to do. So I like that it moves along, and I like we're moving along. I'll make sure they move along, but we'll see we'll see what the players come up with for doing that. So
Are we going to get to see parts of Chaldea that we haven't gone to before?
Not necessarily this next week.
Okay.
I think we're gonna stick around the general area. I haven't. I think it's safe to say we have for I don't know how it was done in you and the other two series, but Steve and I had an outline that we decided on from beginning to end. Here's your start point, here's your end point. And then we outlined every week. We've got an outline for every week, which we are constantly updating based on what's happened. And we think that this is a good thing to do now because we introduced this character and that's kind of fun. So we do, so we have to get through we got to get from point A to point B in every session. So, so this session, I think they're going to do a lot of searching, and we're going to do fun stuff with that. We might meet new characters, we might not. We'll see. But we'll definitely have some combat. I can tell you that. I've got a little plan for that. So, we'll see what our heroes, our dead heroes, undead heroes can do.
So is we're going to see any more of Orthy Vob?
Yeah, I think she might have to make another appearance here.
Wow, she's amazing.
Yeah, I think she might have to. She's
because they're supposed to sneak back in to her plate. Like that was one of the instructions Tenacious told him
they
to
said,
do.
yeah, he said to go back and see her. So that's what they're probably going to try and do. We'll see how far they get and see if they get back in there and see what's going on. I'm pretty sure we'll get somewhere near there. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm sure they will. We'll see what else happens along the way and who else shows up or what else shows up. So looking forward to it. I think we're having we're going to have a guest player next week as well, because I believe Rennie cannot make the session next week. So we're going to have a guest
He's in the
player.
chat right now, so we can find
Rennie,
out.
dude.
Rennie calling you out. Where are you
Yeah.
going to be? That's more important.
I think it's going to be a nice place.
Oh, he said something like Hawaii or something. Like,
Yeah, I think he's going to Hawaii.
you can't just like modern day technology Zoom call in from drinking a pina colada.
Oh,
play D&D.
Totally can.
You know what? I'm going to revoke his geek card if he can't just dial in and play D&D live. Come on.
See how it
You can put a
is.
monitor there.
Rennie's great. I've played with
We
Rennie
love
for
you,
years.
Rennie.
Yeah, he's awesome. He deserves a vacation, so he can have that. We'll welcome him back. I don't know who's gonna play the part for that Archibald part, but we'll see who's gonna role play that for one session.
Somebody.
Yeah, somebody. We'll find somebody, I'm sure.
We'll get somebody feeling they'll do a good job, I'm sure.
Some poor schlepp's gonna have to do it.
Well, see, here's the thing. If you get to step in and play a role for one, like that's when you're most dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like I'm only here for one session.
And then I'm
I don't
out.
care.
Just do whatever I
just
want.
don't care.
Yeah, you just create something, then Steve Connor puts in the script, and then it's acted out, and now it's too late. It's like you've lost your left arm. Sorry.
Surprise!
Surprise! You have no arm for the rest of the series.
I hope that's not going to cause a problem for anybody.
Well, I don't know I mean, they're undead. So like if somebody was missing an arm, I mean.
I don't think it would affect them very much. So I would not be surprised if there was some form of loss of something.
Well, I would just hate it from production value because as soon as now we have to like remove somebody's arm. How are we gonna like let them wear a green sleeve and then
Green
redo the whole
sleeve, and then you can just
my
get rid
Lord.
of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, look, you can't. I don't think you can run an undead campaign without something being lost, Steve. I mean, it's got to happen eventually. Something's got to come off.
You heard it here first, folks. Somebody is losing a limb.
The players are like going, oh, it ain't gonna be me.
Fingers, a hand, I don't think I'll be so evil as to have someone lose a leg,
but maybe.
Right.
Let the dice decide. Make a chart. Make a roll.
What happens? But I think eventually, it's just something's gotta happen with it.
For sure.
It would be fun to have a character without any arms.
Zero arms.
The Walking Dead, didn't they do that?
Yeah, it's like I'm sure.
I feel like they do something like that in most zombie centric films.
Something happens. There's always
the Orthy Vob monologue she did talking to the skull, one of the last lines in there, because we trailed it off, it was really long, but she was crazy. But she says there's nothing sadder and more pathetic than a zombie with no arms.
Yeah.
So there you go.
We'll have to see if we can work it in.
Well, Peter didn't join us. He was here in heart and soul, but he's probably out having a glass of wine or something at this point. Anyway, Peter, get your computer fixed. Join us next time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
before we
you can-
go, could everybody tell us where we can find you on socials? Mike, where can we find you on socials?
I think I'm Mike. I think I'm mboozer42. So you can find me there. I also work for Gen Con, so you can always find me at Gen Con if you want to get a hold of me. So-
That's mboozer42 on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Thanks.
You're welcome.
If you want to, by the way, we have.
I'm so social media oriented. Can you
That's
tell?
okay. Steve, I don't think you are on any socials. You are a ghost.
I am not, but you can get a hold of me at sconnard at worldofchaldea.com. Feel free to email me, and I live on email, so I'll email you back.
It's true. He does at any time of the day. Go get him.
Yeah.
You can also find us at all of our socials for World of Chaldea are at World of Chaldea, or you can find us on our website, worldofchaldea.com or actoroke.com. We stream from twitch.tv/GenConTV every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific. Next week, a week from today, we are going to be streaming the next RPG session, which is RPG session number 2, live from the studio.
Minus Rennie.
Minus Rennie, but with someone else, or maybe not. Maybe it'll be a zombie. We don't know what's going to happen. Something.
Puppets.
I'm Sarah Moore. You can find me on Facebook at Actor Sarah Moore. You can find me on Instagram and Ko-Fi and Twitter and TikTok at Pixies and Pins. You can find me every Friday night right here on Gen Con TV for Sarah's Table at 5 p.m. Pacific. This week we are playing an episode of Lady Blackbird by John Harper, so that should be really fun. Yeah, listen, this show just keeps getting bigger and weirder and better. So you need to come back here and check out what Mike is going to lead everybody through next week. I'd like to give a big shout out to Jimmy Duffy. Thank you very much from
Yes,
Producer
Jimmy.
Jex for running the stream tonight. Thank you to Zombie Orpheus for doing the tech for the shoot. Thank you to Bandersnatch Studios for doing all of the zombie makeup. I want to thank everybody for watching at home and joining us as we are chatting. The chat was pretty active. It was very cool to see you guys in there. I don't know that we have anybody else to thank. I mean, aside from our wonderful players and our excellent actors. Tanel for all of the amazing art. You should go check out all of the art that we have posted on our website. Again, we're dropping that website, worldofchaldea.com. Go check it out. Yeah, I think that's all of it. Steve, can you think of anything else that we need to bring up?
I think we need to bring the magic next week, Mike.
Magic.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll bring the magic next week.
You've been charged.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with the poor players that are gonna see. We're gonna see where they're going next.
I believe in you and the chaos that you shall bring to the table.
Looking forward to chaos. Good night and good gaming, huh?
Yeah. Okay, so thanks so much for joining us tonight. And as always, keep making art and keep being art. We will see you next time.
Good evening.
Good night.